I'm Danny.
It's my turn.
It's your turn.
I'm Cain Jr.
And this is Mindfull Circle. Today's topic, we are going to be talking about the things that we forget to teach our children in the Black community. One of the things that sometimes we don't really like to touch on, and it's a problem that we're not touching on these things, and we're just allowing certain issues to just continue to stir and make bad generations continue to just go on, and we want to stop that. So today, we're going to talk about some of those things, and one of those things that we're going to talk about is finances, and that's where our lovely guest, Lawrence Cain of Abundance University, is going to talk to us about some things that he's implementing in the community to help people gain more awareness of their financial education, financial freedom, financial literacy, and the legacy of generational wealth.
Yes, it's good.
How you doing today, Lawrence?
I'm good, man. Happy to be here,
That's
as
good.
always, with y'all too.
That's good. So,
Tell the people a little more about you and how you all got started with this.
Sure. So I've been in the financial industry since 2010. Once I graduated school with my business degree, I worked in banking for a couple years, left there, worked in financial aid for a local college, and then left there and went to a private lending startup, dealing with private student loans and home improvement loans. While I was there, literally there were 55-year-olds that didn't know the difference between a routing number and an account number. And these were co-signers on $50,000, $60,000, $75,000 worth of private student loans, right? The ones that you can't do nothing about.
Wow.
So, and it wasn't just Black people. This was different races. And I was like, they don't know this. Like, that's the problem, right? So I was like, you know what? I want to start something that I can teach people, right? And do it in an environment that's judgment-free, and that we not only can know the information, but we know how to use the information, know how to implement it individually and then collectively. So in 2015, we started with Abundance University, and we first started with financial empowerment seminars. So we would, do group settings, quickly grew to one-on-one coaching. In 2017, I wrote my first book, Money Seeds, 30 Financial Principles. We teach the youth. We have a Money Seeds program. We go down as low as third grade, and just teaching them how, really, like, life is really about choices and relationships, and how you cultivate those and how you mind those, it then can translate over to financial success. So 5 years later, we're still doing some things even during the pandemic. We still work with schools virtually, doing still have our one-on-one clients, and we have some online courses that we launched this year as well. So try to reach a little bit more people since everybody's not comfortable with being in group settings right now, which is understandable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's a little bit about what we've done.
Yeah, that is awesome. And so you said that your programming is in schools. So
Yeah. So we have two schools that we're working with this year, North College Hill Elementary and then Laughlin Middle School.
Okay.
So during the pandemic, I wrote my third book, Money Seeds, 30 Financial Principles for the Next Generation. So that book specifically is for the youth. It's for teenagers and young people to get their mindset on, again, willing to put in the work. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you've been through. It's all about just persevering and getting through. I know I follow people that are the most generous, but they've been through the most hell, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, so we see the examples of being able to come from it and being able to come through it. So now I'm trying to teach them early, right? I don't want them to be struggling at 18, 19, living paycheck to paycheck when they're 25 and being in thousands of dollars in debt, and then they're trying to fix it. It's like, no, I don't want you to fix your finances. I want you to build your finances at an early age. So yeah, that's what we've embarked on. We want next school year, we want to, double and triple the amount of schools that we're in at the same time. And it'll happen. It's just a matter of schools starting to make it a priority.
Absolutely.
That's what it is.
I wish we had that growing up in school.
Same.
Yes, how beneficial that would be. And I think that's important. I think, because when you look at the full curriculum of school and you think about all the things that you learned and all the things that it was mandatory to learn. Like,
yes.
Has it really been, how much has it
beneficial
been
in adult life?
Yeah. So learning the financial literacy at an early age is really beneficial. Really beneficial. So you said that you have youth as young as like in third grade. So is that the youngest that?
That's the youngest that people have reached out to us, right? Okay. I feel like I can teach a 5-year-old.
Okay.
Like, I just think.
And that's important.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think that you have to have certain degrees and plaques to be able to speak to those, but the real power is knowing how to speak to someone who doesn't know that much,
Absolutely.
and it really set in.
Yeah.
So that's
at an early age.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I literally, while I was in the car, I spoke to the Cincinnati Police Cadet Program over this summer, and there was a young man that had 3 jobs. He cut hair, did the cadets, and then worked somewhere else. I can't remember what his third job was. And gave him some advice, and he literally inboxed me on Instagram today and was like, look, with your advice, my business is booming, and I appreciate everything you've done, like you taught us, man, and I can't wait to, learn more from you. Like, out of nowhere, right? So it's like we are seeing the impact. These young people are hungry. Just think we didn't have social media to be able to actually see fruits of labor.
Yes,
right?
and get hungry from it.
And be like, man, they doing that, or it's amazing what technology is able to expose us to right now, as opposed to what we were used to. We had MTV Cribs back in the day. Now they have like Love It or Listed. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking of shows, right? Like you have HGTV where like they're fixing up homes that like we see.
Right.
Like we ride past houses like this. We ain't ride past MTV Crib houses.
Right.
But we ride past these houses that's on, what's the brother show? I can't remember the.
I think Cain Brothers.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like that. Their show, they're fixing up. Like they're taking you to your dream home, and then they're like, look, you can't afford this, but we gonna show you a home that you can fix up, right? So it's like they see that, they're like, man, I want a house like that. I'm tired of living how we've been living. So we're teaching them how to go about it in the right way. Like starting off, we want you to build your credit because we were taught. Let's get into it, right? We weren't taught about credit. We weren't taught how to build credit effectively. Right? We were taught don't get a credit card. We were also taught
put your money in the mattress.
Put your money in the mattress. Don't, like I worked at the bank. I worked in the actual branch in charge of shipment, right? Like banks have to order money for those who don't know. Like they had to order money from Brinks. There were people that would come in and pay the $5 fee because they didn't want to open up a bank account. Knowing that so banks are FDIC insured up to $250,000 per account holder. So if you have $30,000 in a bank and let's say the branch that you go to all the time gets robbed, your money is still insured.
Right.
Like you can go to another branch. But if somebody steals $30,000 out your house,
it's gone.
Renter's insurance or even homeowner's insurance, they only cover, a good policy only covers $1,000 in cash.
Of that 30. Of
the 30. So you out $29,000, right? And I'm throwing that big number so people can really see, like, you need a bank account. So we're teaching them, start a bank account. This is how you manage the bank account. This is how you budget your money. And we don't call it budgeting, it's cash flow management. Because cash flow is the frequency in which it goes in and out, and the amount in which it goes in and out. So we usually spend money every day. And we're teaching people, how can you make money every day? Or how can you sow seeds that will eventually generate money? So I'm cool with business not making money in a day or two. But what did I do with that day? Did I make calls? Did I post on social media? Did I follow up with people who were interested, right? I need to actually plant the seeds so that eventually that money comes, right? And then there's people that I talked to in June that are now following up like, I'm ready for your services. But they see the seeds that we continue to sow. And we're like, what I teach adults, I'm teaching our babies. So I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not giving them like, oh, well, you're not ready to talk about a checking account. You're not ready to talk about credit. Yes, you know what credit is. Or you don't know, we about to talk about it. Because we can't keep like, they're smart. Let's like put that out there. They're like, these kids are smart. They're smarter than we were. They got more technology. They're faster than us when it comes to digesting this information. So it's like, why hold back? Like, let's really teach about the things again that we weren't privy of. We didn't know about home ownership. Right? We didn't know that you can actually, buy a house and actually rent it out without living in it. Like, we didn't know anything about. We didn't know what residual income was. Right? We didn't know what, like, if you write a book, you can make money off of that for the rest of your life. You can wield that to your children. Right? We don't know about these things. We also, we talk about nonprofit. We talk about, the nonprofits out there, but like, nonprofits are a way to really change our community, and not from a sense of the organization pulling in money from let's get some donations, but we need to create endowments for our nonprofits so that if I pass away, I want to have an endowment of $2.5 million go to this nonprofit organization that I know is teaching our kids something or pouring into our community. What people don't know is endowments, they don't die, right? They are if there's money in there, that money makes money, and the organization can pull from that endowment to be able to fund themselves. You look at there are certain YMCAs in the country, and specifically in Cincinnati, that are backed by endowments. So no matter what happens with certain recreation centers or certain YMCAs, those will still, certain ones will still Carl Linder wide.
Right.
That's never going away. They may get new buildings. They're gonna always get some new buildings, right? They're gonna keep up with the times, but it's not gonna ever die because you gave so much money in that endowment in
Right.
the past. So
Yeah.
we have to now have those conversations. People always talk about getting to the bag, where it's like, nah, we got to teach our kids how to pour back into the community, but we first have to. Like, we have to be the example where it's like, no, we got taught something that didn't benefit us, where we're still fighting for stuff our parents saw 50 years ago.
Right.
Now we have to teach them, this is what we're doing now. We're rewriting our history, and you have to contribute to this.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It can't be an option. Like, our betterment for our people can't be an option.
Cannot be an option.
And I think that's what, again, we were taught that. We were taught that, some people live like this and other people live like no, why? Tell me why.
It doesn't have to be black and white.
Yeah, like, tell me why I can't go take a month-long vacation in the summertime.
Yeah.
My wife's a teacher.
Yeah.
Why can't we go? Like, that needs to be normalized.
Right.
Like, but again, it also comes back to, again, what type of lifestyle do you want to live? And we're not taught the different options that we have. We were only taught to go to school, go to college,
Get a good job.
right? If you didn't go to college, you were marked as a failure
Right.
for some
yeah.
reason, like, or when you gonna go to school, or a lot of times when you gonna have some kids, like, can I find who I am
First.
You know what I mean? So it's just a lot of, for me, what I've learned is that there is a lot of old ways in the new world. Like, 2020 is it's a new world.
Yeah.
Like, take away the pandemic. What we were taught 10 years ago, some of that stuff does not work in 2020.
Yeah, not in class.
It just doesn't work. So we have to now, again, we look at math class. Why are we still teaching the Pythagorean theorem?
Right.
A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That's the Pythagorean theorem, but when have you ever used that in your bills? When have you ever used that in business? This business does not use the Pythagorean theorem.
Right.
I've never used that in any report for tax purposes.
Right.
Never.
I just got grants this year. I didn't need the Pythagorean theorem, right?
Right.
So,
Unnecessary.
like,
Yeah.
but again, it also goes back to what us as parents demand of these schools.
That's
We
true.
have the parents have the power. Like, my son will never go to a high school that's not teaching financial literacy.
Right.
like that's not happening.
Right.
Like, if he goes to that school, I will be up there, and I don't care if they use Abundance University or not. They're going into a world that I don't care what you do.
Right.
You can be an entrepreneur, you can be a vet, you can be a nurse, you can go to the army. You need financial education.
Everybody
You need to know
does.
how to
Everybody
manage
does.
finances.
Absolutely.
Like, we can't keep going to check cashing places. Those need to be
Or
bank
the pawn shop.
or the pawn shop.
Yes. The check cashing places. And I'm not even gonna lie. I've been one of them at the check cashing place. Like,
You know what? I did a title loan one year.
Yeah.
That was not fun. That was not fun.
But that's the thing. It's like, I wish I would have known then what I know now.
Yeah.
And knowing that. I mean, because it took a while to get out of that cycle.
Absolutely.
Going to the check cashing place took a while to really get out of that cycle.
Absolutely.
So in speaking of that, like, I know it's really like important to kind of learn those fundamental tools like early on. And I know you stated that basically when it comes to you teaching youth and things like that, like, you don't hold back on different things, like no particular terms or too much and things like that. So with your programming, I guess, how would you say is structured, like, for each like grade level? So when you deal with your middle schoolers, what type of things are they learning when you deal with your youth in the third grade? Like, what type of things
Sure.
are they
So
learning? Like,
so we usually, for the middle school, we've done a lot of things around entrepreneurship. So teaching them through, if you have a business, you're a brand, right? Because most of the middle schoolers that we teach have social media, right? So we teach them, you are a brand. People, like, you can, number one, make money off of your social media if you chose to. But regardless of that, if you treated yourself like a multi-million-dollar business, how would you act? What would you do? How would you spend money, right? We've done things at North College Hill Middle School where we had, I co-taught a financial literacy special. So, some kids have music, other people have financial literacy. And we had a mini society where these kids started businesses. They had a CEO, they had a chief marketing officer, had a treasurer, stuff like that. We actually brought in other classes to go shopping. I mean, these were like real products. We just had our own like mini society bucks. So shout out to Mr. Howard. He's actually Principal Howard now at North College Hill, but he was a middle school teacher, and we both co-taught it. And the district bought books for a class set for our students, the Money Seeds book. So they learn through hands-on, being able to, they had to pay rent. Like, anytime we opened up shop, they had to pay us rent. If they got too loud, they got fines. They had to rent out, if they had to block off certain spots in the room. And we talked about square footage and how the more square footage you have, the more it costs. Things like that. And they had to see if they made a profit or not. Okay, you started off with this much, you had to pay this much for rent and things like that, and then you made this, what's was it a profit or a loss? And we also showed them examples of young entrepreneurs that are successful. So I think it's one thing for me as an adult to tell them, hey, you can be successful, and hey, yeah, I've been on TV, and they see that, and they appreciate that, but no, we're looking at other 13, 14-year-olds that have made successful businesses, and what have they done? So we do that for them. Our elementary school kids, we play different games with them, like financial bingo. We do, there's different resource games online that you can use. We did one, I can't remember the name, but it actually takes you through like 4 years of college, and it shows you, like based on the decisions you make, how much debt you end up getting into. So you can choose you can choose the type of college, whether it's a community college or a private college. You then choose your major. You choose if you want to, like it'll say, hey, the end of your freshman year is over. Are you gonna work, or are you gonna relax? And it says if you choose, right? So every student goes through it, and some people choose to work, some people choose to relax. People that work, they make money, they pay off some of their debt. After 4 years, they may have $7,000 of student loans after 4 years, which we all know that's phenomenal. For 4 years, right? And some people, they have more than that. They have 25, 30,000, and it's like, these are like, this is something that people have to think about.
Right.
And you all are getting it in 3rd, 4th grade, so that when you get to 15 and you're a freshman in high school, you know that if you take your grades serious, your grades can pave the way for your college, if college is the way for you, because college is only expensive if you have to pay for it.
Right, yeah.
If you get free ride, then it ain't
Enjoy your
expensive.
education.
And it's more often than not, I think our kids just, that freshman year is super critical. So that's why we're trying to start as early as possible to get them to see that your decisions drive how if you want to go to college, go for free.
Yeah.
Why would you even, you have a chance to put your family in a good situation, not just your mama, your husband and wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that get married into debt.
Yeah.
And it's like, some people don't deal with debt well.
Yeah.
So you have a grudge against your spouse because of some things that they were not taught as a youngin'.
Right.
And it's still the leading cause of divorce, finance. So it's just weird, and again, we're just not taught how to maneuver through that. We're not even taught as adults, how to really have financial conversations, right? I tell people you have to have financial meetings in your household.
Yeah.
Some people don't know how to do that. Like our YouTube channel for next year, we're gonna have videos on talking to people on how to, what questions should you ask your spouse, and how should what is the goal of having a financial meeting with your significant other. I think it's important as we go out, as we start to come out of this pandemic, we have to have some clarity on what it is that we're after as a household. What type of legacy do we want to leave? What do we want to invest in, and just all of that stuff. So I think it's really important that we start putting that out there. And again, it always boils down to making it a judgment-free conversation. We don't judge people. You want to buy Jordan? Buy Jordan. I'm not, but more power to you. That's your money. But what, based on your goals, here are some suggestions for what else you can be buying. So that's just how we kind of do it, and make sure nobody feels like you shouldn't feel bad. You grown. I'm not about to make you feel bad, and I shouldn't. And I try not to have content to make you feel bad. I just make content to give my perspective on what we should be doing.
Absolutely. And that's the difference between people taking something personally and really just receiving what that person is saying. People so sensitive these days that they take somebody's opinion as fact. That's that person's fact. It's not everybody's fact. They're able to speak how they feel.
Absolutely.
You keep saying a no judgment zone. And I feel like that's super important.
Very important.
And I think that ties into a lot of mental health. Because when you put people in a judgmental zone, in a learning space, their mental health is attacked. And then they're not able to be well mentally and be able to thrive and stuff like that. And I think that's also something that we don't teach in the Black community is emotional education, emotional wellness. It's important to talk to our kids about how to get through processes and not to take everything so that emotion. Every emotion has sub-compartments. Nothing has just one emotion. You know what I'm saying? So,
and I think the education system that's a challenge for them
because of the pressure that they put on.
Because of the lack of connection that a lot of teachers have to our babies. Right. It's a predominantly white female driven job. Right. And they can't relate to a young Black man who's dealing with things from the house and dealing with the pressures of being a young Black man. Or even, understanding our young Black ladies. And I vividly remember working at North College Hill and there were instances where young kids were upset, and I took it upon myself to make sure that like everything doesn't need to be detention, in school suspension, and stuff like that, right? So like I will get, I'll take a kid from the middle school and walk them to the high school. Hey, let's go take a walk. And I'll say this. I'll be like, listen, whenever you want to talk, you can let me know what happened. If not, I am perfectly okay with you not telling me. But what I don't want to happen is, because you're upset, because I visibly can see it, that you do something that's going to make things worse. So let's just, like, I'm cool with just taking a walk, and then if you're good, we go back to class. And it just, then I, because I graduated from North Carolina too, I'll take them and show them old pictures of me in high school and stuff like that, and it unblocks the emotions. And now they get to, okay, it's really not that bad, because I just got away from the environment in which that made me mad. So I did that a lot, and I think more students would benefit from teachers that could not. I'm not babying you. I imagine I just, it's okay.
It's relativity. It's the relativity piece.
It's like, and I didn't go on the other end where it's like, that behavior is not acceptable, and go to ACA. Like, and I saw a lot of that, man, and it's hard as a black man to be in the school that they almost treat you like, you're their security. You're the personal. You're the white people's security. They're, can you go get this person out of class? Like, and it's like, no.
right.
Like, why? Like, what's wrong? Like, tell them, call their mama or something. Like, and then even as a black coach, like I coach middle school boys basketball. And I'm very empathetic now. Like, back to you talking about not teaching, we're not taught to deal with the emotions. And, there was a kid last year, we were doing, we're boys, shirts versus skins, right? Like, we ain't have practice jerseys at the time. So, shirts versus skins. I saw that one of my players was not comfortable going skins. Like, I visibly, like, I could see it. And I was like, instead of me, like, this is how I was taught. Man up, you'll be all right. Like, so instead, like, I didn't want to embarrass him. I didn't want him to feel any type of way. So I literally was like, you know what, hold on. Y'all go shirts, y'all go skins. So now he was shirts, and now he was able to play and not be self-conscious of his body, right? It was a little heavy set guy. Again, me being an adult, I know nothing's wrong with him.
But to
him, he you literally saw him shrink, like. And again, I think I was always an emotional kid, like, but I was raised around tough people and pimps and all type of stuff. So I know as I got older, I said, what do I want to change around me? Like, if I had this person in my life, what would that look like? And so that I think that's where the people listening to this and watching this, it's really about being that person you wish you had when you was a kid. Are you acting like that? Like,
that conversation.
I think that's very important to kind of self-reflect. Like, who were the people you wish? What type of people did you want to have in your life? And are you that person for somebody? And can you get rid of the things that we know were wrong? Like, this is who I am. Well, that doesn't mean it's right. Right? Or this is how we spent money. This is what we
it's how we've been doing.
We robbed Peter to pay Paul. Like, nah, I don't know them guys.
Right.
I don't know how they keep getting my money. Like, so it's just things like that, man. But I think, again, that's why the books are principle based, right? It's like, I'm not emotional when it comes to my money. I'm not emotional when it comes to my credit score. My credit score, I can pull up Credit Karma. It can say it dropped to 300. I would not be emotional. I'll be shocked.
What did that?
But I'll be like, what? Like, what is this? I'll be laughing because it's like, I don't need my credit to validate my financial well-being. And a lot of people are tied to a dollar amount or a credit score number, and it's like, you can have an 850 credit score and still be broke. So it's not one of those things where you should really feel any type of way if something, drastic happens or great happens. Something great happens, I'm gonna be happy for a hot second. Then it's like, okay, well, I'm back to business. I can sell 500 books today. I'm like, well, I still got to do some work tomorrow. I need more kids to have this because I'm focused on the impact, not the income. I'm not focused on income at all. Like, it's important, and obviously I my wife needs, I need to
right.
make sure I'm bringing in money. But for me, I've chased money so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've did 20 hours of overtime in a week like that. And that check took the taxes they took out. I'm like, yeah,
Right.
cool.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, you at an early age, you do all of that stuff, and because you think it's right.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, as we're in our 30s, and I'm trying to make sure I teach my son and you know, a different way than what I was taught.
Yeah.
I'm trying to teach, you know, these basketball players who now are coaches, like, no, I'm not teaching you. I'm not that old guy that's like, oh, back in my day, I used to get up at 5. I'm telling you, as an old guy, I'm getting up at 4:45 to go to the gym at 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I wouldn't dare tell you something that I'm not doing now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Practicing.
You know what I'm saying? So people gotta stop living in that past of
Yeah.
like what made them feel good, or this is why I do this. But it's like, is it right? Is it gonna benefit your legacy? Is it gonna benefit your family?
Right.
Like, is how you act, how you would want your kids to act.
Yeah.
You know, we
Breaking
gotta have
those
those
generational traditions that's not healthy.
Don't like
No,
it's,
it's
it,
not.
it really is a look in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look and face that, and I think I try to do a good job of analyzing how I've spoken to my spouse, my wife. You know, that I try to make her feel good with how my words are. I never was taught that.
Yeah.
You know, I never saw that. You know, now I have, you know, my grandparents have been married for 50 years, but again, I've never seen them sleep in the same room because my grandpa snored loud. Like, so it's like, so it's like I really, you know, it's like, again, you see these different things that happen, and you're like, okay, well, I'm just picking from the best of the best, right? Like, okay, I want to be married for 50 years. Oh. Then I'm around my church people, and I see what relationships worked in the church and the relationships that didn't. And I'm like, okay, let me ask him the questions because he seems like he understands what is going on. And you know, I'm 31. I'll be 32 on New Year's. I'm just really focused on, again, not necessarily undoing. Because I think that puts a lot of pressure on you. Oh, I gotta undo all of this stuff. That wasn't my responsibility. I didn't cause none of this stuff to happen in the family.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to focus on what I want my family to be. So when the pandemic is over, we're gonna have cookouts. We're gonna and you don't have to bring anything. I'll pay for it because we're not broke. We don't have to live like that. Hey, my son, let's, you know, he likes to draw. He loves to draw with me. I'll sit down and draw with him, and like, I got a lot of work to do, but I can't be too busy to where I don't spend that time.
Yeah.
Like my daughters, daddy's girls. Make sure I'm there. Make sure I'm being as goofy as possible with them. Like, that stuff that, again, I didn't see growing up, per se. But I was loved enough to know that family is important.
Yes.
Right? And some people weren't taught that. And I think some people are naive to the fact that everybody's not brought up how they are brought up.
Yeah.
Everybody has different upbringings. And I tell this all the time. My wife and I grew up in the same neighborhood, but we grew up in 2 different households.
Mm-hmm.
So we been knowing each other since the 5th grade. Right? And how she was brought up and the things that she saw in the household and co-parenting between her mom and dad looked totally different than my upbringing.
Yeah.
And those things come about in our marriage, and we address them. We're very respectful of one another. We love each other unconditionally, and it's all about being on the same page with us. Like, you were raised like that, I was raised like this, but none of that matters because we both know what we want in our family, and we don't let anybody dictate that. And at the same time, we won't abuse the support that we have. Where, you know, sometimes my mom gets mad when I ask somebody else to do something for us, and I'm like, Mom, you ain't the only one that can help us.
Right.
You know, or you know, we pride ourselves on, you know, not having to ask for money, right? Like that's a big thing for some
That's
people.
major.
You know, and I pride myself on that, and it's just like, yeah, if we have something tough, it's like, I know how to make money. So, I'm super, like when I say I'm unemotional to money, I can get $1 billion right now, and it won't bother me. It won't make me like, I'm okay. If this is mine, I'm going to, I already know what I'm going to do. And it's just going to happen, and, you know, my joy comes from, again, helping other people. That's where I get the most joy from. I can do things myself. I can create. I created my book covers. Every book I made, I wrote myself, and book covers, built my websites, all of that stuff. I can do everything for myself. But nothing makes me more happy than being able to help other people.
That's what it's
And that's what we don't teach people. We don't teach our kids, look, you shouldn't be the only one that is good. And that's why I teach my son is the best player on his basketball team. But I said, you don't want to be the best player and the worst teammate.
Yes.
That's just like being a good husband, and you know what I mean? I'm a good father, but a terrible husband. Man, you ain't gonna ever hear no story about that. You ain't gonna hear me being a good husband and a terrible father. Like I need to be well rounded in what I chose. I chose to be a husband.
Absolutely.
I chose to be a father. I chose to be a coach. I chose to be a business owner. Nobody told me to do any of those things. So if I'm going to do those, I need to put my best foot forward. And that's what we got to teach our next generation. You have to go to school. So while you're here, you might make the best of it. What are some benefits of being in this school? Right? What are some good things that can come about, and what good can you do for the school? Right? Like don't just think like people got to give you stuff. Have you earned it? Like So it's a lot of. I mean, it's so many layers to life that you just have to take. You literally have to take it one day at a time. Have your non-negotiables on what you're gonna do with your day. Like again, Sunday through Friday, I'm at the gym in the morning. Like
that's it.
It's written in stone at this point. Like I have to, or I don't feel right. I'm gonna make sure I wake up in the morning. All right, what can I do? When I'm on the elliptical, I'm like, okay, what can I do to make my life day easier? Like I think about that all the time. Like I play this game in my mind when my wife leaves for an extended period of time, like an hour or two. I'm like, she can't come back to the same house. I got to do something. Like I play this game. Like
that's effort, and it's
I play this game, and it's like my son sees that. So now he's gonna know this is how you keep your wife happy, right? And you know, and we have, me and my wife, we have conversations just about, we have marriage meetings, right? We haven't had one in probably a month or two. Life has been crazy. We had COVID in October, and it just shook it was wild. But it has been a blessing to be able to be on the same page with my wife on things that we never talk about. Like she'll mention something, and I'll be like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like I was just gonna say that to you, like good. Like that feels way better than arguing. And we've never argued. Like we've been together, we've been dating since 2010. We've been married since 2014. We've never had an argument. Like, and people be like, but that's weird. I'm like, no, arguing is weird.
Arguing is weird.
It's weird.
It's so weird. Because it comes in so many different levels. And it's like, bro, that's weird.
It's
when
weird.
Stuff start getting thrown and cuss words and all that other stuff.
Or just trying to be, or just
belittling people.
Having your way, even if it's not the way.
It's immature.
Weird. It's weird. Like I don't like. I'm gonna like. Now, mind you, I and you know she might listen to this one day. Like my wife does small things that may get under my skin, but I look at it as that's her, And if I want to fix it, I can fix it.
Right.
So I fix it and go about my business. So the unemotional piece that I have to money, I have towards stuff that won't lead in divorce.
Right.
Like if you do something small that may make me mad at the time, I'm not getting a divorce.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to counseling over it. It's just it's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
all right, I literally asked myself, would I bring this up in counseling? No. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll deal with it. Like, and some people think that that's unhealthy.
No, and you know what? I think the issue is because a lot of people think they have these expectations on relationships and things
Yeah.
like that, and say like, oh, because I was you saying like, yeah, we haven't had arguments. Wow, but why is that considered like shocking? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Right. I love her. She love me.
right,
Like,
right, and you know that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people, you know, they put these expectations on it, like, oh, you're supposed to argue. That's what. You
that's
know,
what makes it stronger.
Right,
Like,
right. It's like,
arguing does not make
no.
it stronger.
Not at all.
I've argued with people.
Yeah, and if it don't make things better,
We're not together.
Yeah, right. it can ruin some relationships. Some relationships
Yeah.
never get back after an argument. Sometimes it does. You know, to talk it out. Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
makes it better.
Yeah, and that's what we try to teach, you know, even in the schools. I think, man, if you working in a school, volunteering at a school is something that everybody, I wish everybody would be able to experience.
Yeah.
I know some people work during the same time school is in, so I get it, but if you could just take an off day and work at a school when all of this pandemic stuff is over, it'll open your eyes to how, like, I mean, some kids come in with negative energy, and you gotta as an adult, you know, you be like, I cuss kids out, or I'm like, man, listen, it sounds good and all, but our kids need to know that, listen, I will beat you up in love. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to love on you, and there's nothing you can do about
Absolutely.
this. So I am gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna let you take your time and, you know, deal with your emotions, because we've all been there as a kid. But let's get back to what we're here for.
Absolutely.
Which is to be better people and
Yeah.
to contribute to our legacy, our family.
Right.
And you know, some days some teachers can do that better than others, and some teachers can't do that at all. You know, classroom management is something that the schools talk about, and I'll be real, part of it is that you don't have the trust of your kids. They don't believe that you will do anything for them.
Mm-hmm.
As an adult, like, you know, if you got a spouse that you don't think will do anything for you, you're not going to be with them. As a kid, if you have a teacher that you don't care about,
You're going to disregard.
Right.
you go disregard them every time.
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to get the trust. You got to get, and again, it's teaching the next generation.
Right.
So teach them real principles.
Yeah.
Man. Like, I mean, I had to sub a class. It was like a music class or something like that. And I said, look, I'll give y'all two options. And I don't care which one y'all choose. We're either gonna watch a movie, or I can teach y'all how to make money on social media. Them two options. I'm cool with either one. Raise your hand if you want the movie. Mass kids raise their hand. And I was like, okay. But it looks like, and as I was about to say, it looks like we're going to go with the movie, because it was majority movie.
Mm-hmm.
As I was saying, if somebody was like, you mean I can make money off Snapchat? And it was like, I was like, yeah. Then everybody was like, how?
See, yeah.
So it's like,
That seed.
well,
It was just the seed.
It was just, yeah, it's like, okay. It got to the point where one of the kids was like, I know we can't have our phones out, but can I record the audio of this? Because I wanna go back and listen.
and listen to it. Mm-hmm.
7th, 8th grade.
That's good, yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, man, this kid, I think that's what separates me from a lot of organizations, a lot of companies, is that we focus not only on the adults, right? We got the one-on-one coaching, we got the books, we got the apparel,
Yeah.
right? but we gonna get to them kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I spoke to some second graders these last 2 weeks at Lincoln Heights. Lincoln Heights, we did some virtual. They asked me so many questions to the point where now I have to meet with that teacher so we can look at doing something
That is
on
powerful.
a weekly basis.
It's powerful.
They were, asking questions and questions, and they were so engaged. And we didn't even get to talk. We didn't talk about a lot of stuff, but they were like, "You have your own website?" Like that one thing just was amazing to these second graders, right? So we got to get, I challenge any entrepreneur that sees this, listens to this, you got to tap into the next generation.
Yes.
That's how you get longevity in business. Tap in. I don't care what you do. You sell body butter. You do whatever. You tap into the next generation. Give them internships. Like I got 4 interns from North College free. It's a class that they take that they have to get internships. Well, we real businesses. I have them. We have a meeting first of the first Monday or Tuesday of the month in January. They're helping me with YouTube. These kids like YouTube. They know what so they got a whole list of what videos we should be doing. I got another one that's gonna be reaching out to people on Instagram to get me interviews with other podcasts.
Yeah.
Like stuff that they literally are.
They do for fun,
Right.
and they do it all day. Eyes be burning and hurting and everything, knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
Like I know how to do it. I've been up for 7 days straight.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
Yeah.
Come help me.
So it's just things like that, man. I'm telling you, the next generation is gonna be. They have the potential to be in good hands if we, as the middle generation,
We nurture it.
tap into the lessons that we had to learn, and then now we teach them in a way where it's not something that they have to fix.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's something that they can just cultivate and start afresh.
Yeah.
And that's what Abundance University is about. Teaching them how to be abundant in their life.
Yeah.
I want an abundant marriage. I want an abundant bank account. I want an abundant life.
Right.
And I'm willing to put the work in to do that. So if I gotta get up early to work out so that I can spend time with my kids, or to make sure that we have everything covered for our household, and I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
So
Your life management.
it's just things
It's
like
important.
that. Yeah.
It's real important.
Yeah. So what would you say as for anybody listening, especially parents and things like that, just some one to start off and wanting to kind of build on this financial abundance, and kind of getting this kickstart and creating this legacy and leaving this financial wealth like for generations to
For
come,
sure.
things like that. What's the basic things that parents can do for their children at this point? Like, what are some basic things you can start off with? And kind of
Sure,
build on?
I think even in like just involving the kids in decisions around the house, right? All right, you talk about you want to redo the deck. You talk about you want to get a new house. How much does that cost, right? And how and actually talk about the numbers. Like, all right, if we do this, like include them. I don't care how young they are. Stuff like that, have an allowance, right?
Yeah.
Everybody didn't grow up with allowance.
Yeah.
You can grow up with an allowance now, like, and be like, look, you do X, Y, Z, I pay you this, right? And then take $3 out of for every 10 because of taxes, right? Teach them about taxes early, right? You don't keep everything
I
that
do
you
that to
bring
my
in.
son. Every time he gets some money, I'm like, give me 5.
Yeah, need them taxes.
But then I put it in his bank account.
Exactly.
So every time I take from him, I put it in his bank account.
Right, right. Stuff like that. Actually showing them their
And I
bank
bring him
account.
his receipts.
Yeah, and there's power in that. There's power in, there's different books, right? Get them the Money Seed Study Financial Principles for the Next Generation, and really show them what the principles mean to you as an adult, and then what they can mean for them as a student, because a student is their profession right now.
Yeah.
So how do you master that? What are your gifts as a student? What are your weaknesses? What are some things you need to work on? You know, are you a good communicator on when you are struggling, or do you just shut down and get mad at the teacher because she ain't teaching you, but it's really because you just don't understand it. So are you honest with yourself as a student? Setting them up a custodial account so that you know, savings account is
have
good.
access to it
So
at a certain
custodial
age.
account, you actually can not only just put in money, but you can put in stocks and stuff like that.
Okay.
And other people can contribute too. So, you know, if you got an aunt that, hey, what should I give little Junior? Hey, put money in this. Here go this custodial account. Like we want to buy Airbnb stocks or something like that. So just being, you know, showing them the different options at an early age. Speaking life. You know, there's some on our website, abundanceuniversity.net. We have some free downloads, and one of the downloads is a financial affirmations.
Yes,
sheet.
I wanted to get to
So-
that with you. Yes, yes.
So, you know, just picking one out the day, or you know, picking out the month, and like, you know, that's something that I'm actually about to implement with my clients going into 2021. Like, you got to speak life into your finances. You got to speak life into your financial success.
Yeah.
And you know, those, you know, it's like 30 affirmations that people can choose from. Like, you know, that's on the page, and you know, just choose one and kind of just focus on that, man. And you know, one thing that I always say is, I deserve financial happiness. You know, I deserve it. I'm not a bad guy.
Yeah.
And my family deserves it because we've worked hard. And it's just one of those things, man. It can't happen until you make it happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's not gonna just come because you want it. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's just
People
is
think they
what
can
it
wake
is.
up and be a good person and
Yeah.
life is just gonna come good just
Yeah.
because they a good person.
Bad things
And-
happen to good people.
Yeah, you have
Right?
to be patient and diligent with your moves in
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
You can't dwell in a rut and just live and let that be your generation. Like, well, we always did have to find a way and make a way. Like, no, don't do
Or
that.
people think they're gonna die in debt. Like, I think that's wild to me. Like, I used to hear that all the time, and I'm like, I ain't. Like, I'm gonna die in abundance. Like,
Absolutely.
I'm not willing to even have that thought in my mind where like I'm gonna have this debt. It's not even set up to where you should, right?
Yeah.
If you do the math, even if you get a house at 30, you got a 30-year mortgage, pay it off in 30 years, you're 60, right? Life expectancy is higher than 60 now, so you shouldn't, you think of it, right? But you have to be diligent in the small day-to-day things, you know, making sure you're not, like, for example, we just got a statement in the mail that our house value just went up $15,000, right? Now most Americans see that, and then they usually get a home equity line of credit to do some fixing up around the house. So you just took a loan out on your house to do stuff for your house, when you can just save up $15,000
Right.
and do that without the interest.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm a patient person. So I'm again, I know what my 20s gave me, and I'm excited to see what the 30s give me.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
because now I know certain things now, and I have a family that will benefit from my from the seeds that we've sown, right? So
Yeah, and you know, and I just taking it back a little bit when you spoke on just kind of how people just kind of assume like if they've been in debt that they just gonna stay in debt, like they just gonna die in debt. And thinking about that too, especially among like our community, among the African American community, and the disparities, all the disparities that we have, especially the economic disparity.
absolutely.
Have you seen that to be, I don't want to call it a trend, but have you seen that to be like a common mindset among us? And even if so, like, what ways do you feel will help to kind of help us to shift that mindset to know that we're capable of getting out of these situations and these circumstances that we end up in?
Absolutely. So I think the biggest like thing that happens in our community is that we don't give ourselves grace for not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like some people, the I'll die in debt. That's more older people, like 40s, 50s. They usually say that. Nobody around our age thinks like that, but I do think that we give ourselves such a hard time on things that we did when we were 22. Like that was 19 years ago for most of us. Like you were supposed to do that.
Yeah.
You were supposed to do that at 22 when you know what I mean, when you didn't know, right? And you know, I remember my grandfather. Man, I was so mad at him because it was after I like got out of this like overtime thing, right? Where I was like, all right, I ain't working overtime like that because it don't benefit, and I was making a little bit more money, so I didn't have to really do that. But I remember you told me, man, after 40 hours a week, anything you get extra should be saved. And I'm like, why you ain't tell me this when I was 15? Like, why, like the money that I spent between 16 and 22, all that overtime money was blown. I ain't got nothing to show for it. You should have told me this at 15.
Yeah.
You're telling me this at 22. I don't even work overtime no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, now I'm 40 hours. Like, you know what I mean? So it was like, let's just have these conversations. Right? And again, I'm thankful for him saying it, because now I tell people, okay, what's like I literally was just talking to my little cousin. He's, I want to say a junior in college right now, but he's working. And, you know, I was telling him, your average check is $150. Anything above $150 automatically has to get saved. Like, you just have that mindset. And then as your income grows, you set the new barometer. Right? And I think that's where, again, going back to your question, some people just aren't willing to give up those thoughts because it helps them. Comfort. It helps them create this woe is me, or not even that, because I don't want to disrespect anybody in that regard, but it creates this crutch that does not go away until they have to make a change. Like some changes are voluntary, and then there's some that are like non-voluntary, where it's like you got to change anyway.
Right now.
And a lot of people wait on that. Like the pandemic was non-voluntary for all of us. It was non-voluntary change, right? Now people had to spend time with their family if they didn't normally do that, right? Some people then had to make sure that they budgeted money. Some people, you know, again, didn't have access to, you know, the different PPP loans and unemployment, stuff like that. So,
you know, even just speaking on the whole, how you were saying the pandemic, we had to spend time with our kids and stuff like that. I even feel like before the pandemic, I don't think in the Black community we really developed what effective time with your family is. Like, we good at cookouts and barbecues and tell everybody to come through. But in the household, I personally have done it, and I've had it done to me. Kids go where the kids supposed to go, parents in their room.
Right.
And it's division still, you know what I'm saying? Everybody just still in the same house. And I feel like sometimes that can cause that disconnect in kids with society and like social skills. And now with social media being a big thing, social skills are like on the decline.
Right.
Because they're so into, well, is this person going to accept me? And am I getting enough likes? Am I getting enough comments? And am I having enough followers? And they so anxious about stuff that's not going, if they ain't even making a profit off of it if they're not putting it in a monetary thing. But they're so focused on something so small that it makes them feel alienated, and I think it forces these kids to try to choose something that they feel like they can identify to. Like, we have a rise of children identifying with their identity at early ages, and it's like, you gotta, why are you focused on that so early? Like, you still pee in the bed, you still not getting good grades, you still don't shower every day. What is so important about identifying as this. If you
Yeah.
and if I let you go ahead and do that, are you gonna start showering every day?
Yeah.
Are you gonna get better grades?
Yeah.
And it's like they're making them focus on too many of the small things. It's not they're just not important. And I think that causes a lot of division within the Black community too, because it then leaves that same disconnect in a different way of like, you don't understand me.
Yeah.
Kids feel misunderstood. And it's not good.
And that's up to the parents. I mean, and relatives in general, right?
Yeah.
Like where, you know, it's always, especially, you know, back in the day, you got in trouble, and then you had to go to that family function. And you knew your mama was, mama told everybody already,
Right.
so now you just like, man, I don't even want to go.
Yes.
Like, so it's that, but I mean, I definitely, I understand what you're saying when it comes to the disconnect, right? And you have to be able to coexist in that environment, but it also goes back to a lot of our people used to do things that they shouldn't be doing around the kids,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So now that was why, that was a big part of it. So now, like, even with myself, I wouldn't even be able to call myself a social drinker. Like, I ain't even, can't tell you the last time I like had a real like thing of liquor or something like that. So like at the house, my son don't see me drink. He knows I do, but he doesn't see me. And when we're at the house, it's like, okay, I make a concerted effort to spend time with him. I still got to spend time with my wife, right? We need that quality time. We got 3 kids. We've been in a pandemic. And then my daughters, right? So it's like, it's always going to be a challenge. But I think overall, I think if people focused on loving and how do you love on your kids, how do you love on your spouse, how do you make sure your presence is felt while you're in the house. So like me, I thrive off of, like, I'm cool with everybody being in a different room. But I also love when everybody's in the same room too. So it's like, for me personally, I need that balance. Now, as my kids get older, we'll see how they react. And then I think we just need to stop having those old ways where like, you're supposed to respond like this as my child. And it's like, no, your child is made up of something totally different. Yeah, that's your seed. Like my son is my son, acts like me for the most part.
But they're their own person.
But he's his own person. He's just gonna be certain stuff he just doesn't like. He doesn't like being yelled at. My mother yells, so he's like, I don't like going over there. And like my mom, I had to tell my mom like Mom, you yell at him. He don't like that. Well, this how I am. Yeah. Well, he gonna be coming home then because he don't like that. Like, and he not doing that. He ain't writing on the way. 9 years old, he just be chilling.
Yeah.
So you know, us as, like I said, me as his father, it's like I'm gonna stick up for him, right? And yeah, you my mama, but that's my son. Yeah. You know, and if you're not gonna change, we'll change the scenery. And we gotta be willing to have them tough conversations. I love my mama to death, right? I'm a mama's boy, but I'm a father, and that is a very important role that I took on. I don't take it for granted. I don't take my mama for granted. But it's just, again, it's all about coexisting. And yes, you got to make the adjustment as the grandparent now. Like, you can't, like, yeah, I responded when you yelled, but, and I don't think, like, let's be real, nobody likes being yelled at.
Nobody.
Like, nobody.
No.
So, you just got to make the adjustment and, you know, keep going. But I really think that this is the time to really, you know, pandemic is really exposing, it's highlighting what people like and don't like. And I think as we go forward, it's just sticking to what you like and getting rid of what you don't like. And you know, some people may not agree with you on certain decisions that you make for your life, but it's yours, and they just won't understand. Yeah. You know, and I be having to say, look, hey,
You talking everything we was talking about last episode. Promise.
Yeah, I'm that's just how I am, man. Like I can really care less about how people think about me living my life when you ain't contributing on a day-to-day basis to it. Like, You know, and even if you feel like you are like, you're not paying my bills.
Yeah.
I'm after legacy. I'm after, and not legacy from like even me, just like, I want Abundance University to be around after I'm dead. Like, I want the teachings, I want the books to continue to be sold even after I'm gone. And I don't see anybody coming in the way of that.
Yeah.
So
Good.
if I gotta distance myself to make sure my family good and my business good, I'm good. And I'm being obedient to God. So I'm in my zone. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to get in yours.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's definitely what's up. Well, I know we've been here for about an hour now.
Hour and some change.
Time fly when you
It does.
building,
It does.
man.
I mean, I still have some stuff I want to talk about, but I don't want to keep anybody if y'all
We
gotta
just
go.
do a part 2, man.
And that's what we was. That's what we was
Yeah,
talking about.
We do a
doing.
part 2.
Mhm.
We do a part 2, but I appreciate this.
We
No, thank
appreciate
you. Yeah,
you
we
for
definitely
sure.
appreciate you. Thank you so much.
It's
for your time and
powerful.
coming. Yeah.
It's powerful on more levels than I think we even know it. Like I think that it's underestimated now, for real, because it's in our community. It's not even. Sometimes black men aren't accessible,
Yeah,
and they not. And when they are accessible, they're accessible with the wrong intentions.
absolutely.
You know, so
So
to be able to have you,
to talk about that,
Yeah.
that's why for y'all looking, the Invest in Black Women, right? Abundance University Apparel. That kind of sums up why I even started it, right? Because I know my role as a black man married to a black woman with black daughters, with a black mama, with black aunties, like, it's important for me to set the standard for how a man should interact with women in different areas of his life.
absolutely.
So there won't be, like I've heard one of my close friends, she told me one day that, you know, she was in a business meeting and you know, chopping it up with a guy who was going to potentially be a client, but then he asked her to sit on his lap. And I'm like, it was so baffling to me because me as a man, I don't go through stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right? But black women go through so much that I would never experience, never need to experience, I would never experience that, right? And even if I did, it would be looked at as something positive, right? So it's like, the Invest in Black Women, you know, is really is to honor black women. It's to tell people that, look, whatever you can contribute to a black woman, you do it. If you can invest time, your talent, your treasure, your resources, your energy, your protection. Black people, black women need to feel protected around black men, right? They need to feel like there's no, like you said, there's no, you know, ill intentions on why we connected. Like, you know, I have black youth at my church, black young daughters. You know, I call them my daughters. They can come to my house and their parents feel they know they safe around me and my family. There's nothing like goofy going on.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
that we've seen in our community. So I think like that's what I focus on. And I think that's what keeps me straight. Like that's what keeps me straight. I'm like ain't no outside kids, ain't no mistress, ain't none of that going on. Like it's not happening.
Right.
Because I respect the other women just as much as I respect
Absolutely.
my wife, right? Like you too great to be a side chick.
Yeah.
Like y'all, like, and in my previous life, you know, yeah, like that was the mindset. Again, I was raised by pimps. Like I grew up around seeing that. You know what I mean? Grew up around the barbershop talk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's still cool, but let's change the conversation.
Absolutely.
You know, and I'm around married men.
What we was talking about earlier when I was talking about what I talked about with my clients and stuff.
Yeah.
It's important what you talk in the meantime.
Yeah.
'Cause at leisure time, a lot of stuff can get stirred up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You give a woman too much time to sit in the beauty salon back in the day, She done came out with an attitude. She done cussed her man out. She got a new attitude and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody with a Pam mindset that told her, girl, you need to, and it don't need to be like that. And we need to be talking about more progressive things. And this is a seed that we sowed from us being able to have that connection. Now we're here and we're able to, you know, expand our platform and help other people see the bigger picture. And a brighter light.
Important. That's important. I mean, I literally, I don't go to too many barbers who ain't building. You know, one of the principles in the business book is build with the builders. So I'm real. I don't really spend a lot of time around people who don't got something to lose. So you know what I mean. You cheat on your wife, I probably won't do business with you. Because if you do something to her, we got money involved. You ain't got no ties to me. Like, you know what I mean. So it's like, again, the Invest in Black Women apparel came from me just wanting to express my love, my appreciation, and let people know, let Black women know that, like, I'm wearing this in the whitest of white environments. I'm wearing this in, like, I've had conversations in a club with this shirt on with like other Black men. Like, you sure about that? Yeah, I'm sure. Positive. Yeah, like. I know. Yeah, like it's.
I'm shocked.
It'd be weird, man. I just be minding my business. You know what I'm saying?
Like so, like that.
Yeah, like and literally, like, people want to have a conversation with me about it. Like, and I tell them, like, this is what I'm on. Like, I ain't.
It's definitely a conversation starter for sure.
It is.
When I first saw the Invest in Black Women shirts was at Morgan's event at the Art Center in Kennedy Heights. And I saw it and I was like, it kind of like did that to me, like, wow. And it was just so impressive, and to see, and I think your wife was with you at the time.
That was my good friend.
Okay, well, to see them even be able to like thrive in a, you know, moment like that, to sell shirts and really like develop with other people.
It was a good.
I love Morgan's events.
Yeah, it was good. Shout out to Morgan, man.
Shout out to Morgan Owens. She Morgan Owens on everything. Morgan Angelique Owens on Instagram. She's the truth. Check her out.
Yeah, man. So it's just for me, man. I really, like, I ain't nothing without Black women. That's 99% of my base are Black women. So from the one-on-one clients to people that buy the book to people that buy apparel, the people who, the contracts, only one contract I got with a school was not with a Black woman. Like, so it's just, again, we gonna keep it going. You know what I mean? For as long as I'm living, Black women gonna know that they got one man that gonna always make sure that they good. I'ma hype y'all because y'all deserve it. I'm gonna protect y'all. I'm gonna offer my time, talent, or treasure if I see fit, and just the energy I bring. I don't want it to be. It ain't fake with me, and it ain't. Again, I ain't got no outside.
Situations.
Entanglements. Not even that. I don't have any other outside intentions. Is what I was thinking. Like, I don't have any, like, I ain't in nobody inbox trying to do something and ill will, just to sell a shirt or whatever. Like, it's. I got too much to lose, man. I got too much to lose,
but even in a sense of, like, not even just having, like, outside women and stuff like that, the way that we've had in our community interactions with Black men hasn't only been with that and being pimps and stuff. We've had it in, like, drug dealers. So to see, like, positive people coming up, sometimes it will be the people that would be on the corner selling newspapers and stuff like that. They was giving a good word, you know what I'm saying? So it's just, we're really appreciative to be able to meet someone who has internal intentions for themselves. You have it for yourself before you have it for the community, because you want to thrive as a person. So we wanted to shed some light on that for sure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's important.
We appreciate you.
Absolutely. So this week, As far as my beautiful brown babe shout outs go, I have another piece from Shop 1217. It's a little wallet tote thing with a matching mask. Very cute. Thanks.
I like it.
I wore it with my outfit that you decided to come for. We're gonna talk about that later. Anyway, my lashes are still from, the Meek Lash dealer, Kelly McCarter. Go check her out, y'all. She's amazing. My hoodie happens to come from this amazing person named Lawrence Cain. And it's super comfortable, y'all. It's real cute. I love pink on my skin tone, and it's amazing. So that's what I have as far as my shout outs go. Yeah, it's real comfortable. It's real comfortable. Beautiful brown babe shout out.
I would like to shout out. I don't have on any apparel aside from Lawrence's shirt, and it feels so good.
Yeah, it's very
It
cool.
feels so good. But I would like to shout out Mary Sales with Gift of Beauty by Mary for my lashes. And her
they
beautiful
rocking.
Let me tell you.
They so cute.
I love your lashes too.
Girl,
I love your
thank you,
lashes.
but y'all, they rocking.
Let me tell you, but Mary though, beautiful spirit. Was really having a really off day.
Yeah.
She turned it around.
Yeah.
So definitely check her out for more than just lashes, for the whole experience. You will not regret it. So yeah, shout out to her, Gift of Beauty by Mary.
I got one to shout out. So even though I don't have like apparel on, my beard. So there is a young lady, Lauren's brown skin. She has body butters, beard balm, just a lot of, it's all natural. Black owned from Cincinnati. A beautiful, beautiful black woman who really puts time into her craft, right? You can just, like, from her marketing to the actual product. And I've had my beard for a while. This product is like, I feel like a king when I'm putting on this beard balm. Like, so shout out to her. I've never seen her have a bad review on her products.
Okay.
And I had to try it for myself. I was like, oh yeah, it looks like something magical. When I opened, I was like, oh, this is different. I'm used to again, Shea Moisture. I'm used to some other ones that I've used, some other black owned business, but for her to be she's local and just a phenomenal business person and just overall good people. So shout out to
Where can you get her products at?
on her website.
Online?
Yeah,
Okay.
online they ship. I mean, it was fast delivery. Even during this pandemic, this shipping been wild. So yeah, that is that's who I want to shout out.
Yes, so we got an extension to our beautiful brown babe shout outs. We want to thank you so much for tuning in. Be mindful.
Open your mindful.
And it'll leave your mind full. Thank you so much, guys.